All right, we're live. Welcome to Mazecast. I'm here with Vincent, and we have a big show planned for you tonight. We're going to be talking about Room 7.
Yeah, something we've never discussed.
Well, I think the last time we had that epic 3-hour Mazecast where we talked about every single room in the book regarding Minotaur clues. And I think when we got to room 7, both you and I had to go tend to our respective children, and Diane had to talk to herself for about 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah. And, I'm not sure. I don't think I ever went back and listened to that. So I don't know what that is.
Well, it was 3 hours long. So, yeah, I didn't listen to the whole thing either.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we didn't repeat anything that's been said before.
Oh, no, certainly not. I'm just realizing I don't have my I don't actually have my maze PDF called up. I'm going to do that. You just keep talking.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's always interesting to me to take a break from maze for a while, but it's real distracting to me to have my image up here on camera anymore.
Well, don't look at yourself then.
Well, but then I don't know what if I've got a booger hanging on my nose or something. I feel like I got a picture up there. Not that I look great. I mean, I just woke up.
I just woke up.
And now this is Friday night. It's a little after 9:30. I just fallen asleep. I got a good nap in. But no, this is good. It's important. We got an opportunity to Mazecast. We got to take it. I'm just explaining why, I don't look 100%. I know the Mazecast viewers are accustomed to a certain level.
Accustomed to a polished appearance.
Yeah, well, no. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reason why they tune in is the sex appeal. And, I feel like they deserve an apology for what they're witnessing at the moment. We'll do a little better next time, folks. Yeah. In any case, getting that out of the way. Okay, I will not look at my screen. So I can't see. I'll just when you leave maze for a while and you come back to it, like it's not like you have revelations about what the book means or anything like that. Like we haven't found any method for actually learning or figuring anything out about the book, but it does help me regain like some of the wonder, and it becomes compelling all over again.
Mm-hmm.
when I stop looking at it. So I hadn't looked at maze for a while. Even when talking about it for long periods of time, I don't always look at the book. We were talking shortly before we went on the air about internalizing the book, and most of us had on programs like this, we'd reached a point where we don't necessarily whip out the book and look at it to think about a new theory that someone's come up with or what something means. Like we've seen the billion times. If someone says, oh, you know what, I think the clock in room 13 means this, like you don't necessarily pull out your book and take a look at it because you know what they're talking about, and you're just like, I don't know, it sounds like bullshit. But actually taking the book out and looking at it, it struck me at how compelling, again, it is that you've got the pull toy and like the wool or whatever on the floor, which we talked about, the wool thing. And I looked at it again, I was like, boy, it really seems clear that's what's meant to communicate, but what a strange way or a strange thing that Manson's doing here with that. Like that's just not a thing that you would typically see in any kind of a puzzle. Like he's got something that suggests pull, and he's got something that I guess is supposed to be wool, but what a thing to choose to.
Well, that's not.
No, it could just be a rug, right? Or
pulling the rug, yeah.
But see, I don't think so.
Really? Because of the eye thing?
Well, the reason I think it's wool. Well, one of the reasons. It could be wrong. But the thing is, it looks distinctly woolly. And it would have been very easy to draw. I mean, there are lots of kinds of rugs. You can just a throw rug or whatever. I mean, and that to me looks very distinctly like just a weird piece of cloth, right? And we'd always looked at that and wondered,
Yeah.
what's going on with that thing. It looks more like it's intended to be a loose bit of cloth than, like, I guess, if I imagine that you're trying to clue the word rug to somebody, I don't know that you would draw that. If you're looking to clue the word wool to somebody, I guess that's what you might draw. I don't know what you would draw, like, unless you were actually going to like point to like wool that's still on the back of a sheep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you draw something that is immediately visually convincingly meant to be wool, because at least in the manner that Manson's drawing, right?
Right.
Like
with timing.
That seems to me about as good a job of doing wool as you could do. So it's like, if we take the idea that it's meant to be wool, then it's like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. If you take the idea that it's meant to be a rug, then I'm kind of like, oh, really? Why did you? So either one's possible. The wool seems more compelling, and the wool, like we've said before, it goes with the idea. The completion of that phrase is pull the wool over your eyes, or one eyes, pull the wool over somebody's eyes. Now you also have in that corner, you've got the lamp that's covering the eye of that one portrait. And I wondered, when I looked at it this next time, I wonder whether that's supposed to be part of it too.
Should I call it the picture?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm drinking Diet Mountain Dew.
Delicious.
Okay.
That's why.
That's why. I don't like it. I just feel like that's a serious drink that adults should have.
Because when you're a kid, you're not allowed to drink it.
Well, when you're a kid, you might drink straight Mountain Dew, but when you grow up, then you have to go for Diet Mountain Dew.
All right, so there's the room.
So the lamp is like, it's sort of like there. Now, what else is sort of like right there is that picture of the countryside or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And then obviously we've never had a good explanation for what's going on with that picture. I mean, to go along with not having a good explanation for much of anything in the book, but it seems like with the weird stuff, like we've got the pull toy and the carpet roll or whatever, and then right there's that flapping picture of the, which doesn't really seem to go with any of the portraits that are in the room.
No,
you've got
all
other
the portraits are nicely framed. This one is like, noticeably just sort of tacked up there and flapping around.
And so we've done stupid shit like, well, they give 3 clouds and each give me 3 nails and so.
I mean, that is stupid, but like there are 3 nails. Where it would seem weird to have 3 nails. Like, if you're not trying to do 3 nails, don't you think you would just put a nail in the corner there?
No.
No.
No, sometimes things are going to have 3 things in them,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Argument 1. Sometimes things are going to have 3 things in them. Well,
I mean, I disagree with that. You got me there. Next. Oh.
The room's going to have a duck toy in it. Well, I guess that's true.
Okay, but let's talk about the pulling a little bit more. So we've got a pull toy, we have pull the wool or pull a rug. I think that the plug is also another pull thing. Pull the plug, right? I think that's another, like, we've got 3 objects sitting in this room.
Pull Wait, we have 3 pull objects? What do we have?
Well, pull the rug or pull the wool, and the pull toy and the plug.
Oh, I see. Well, okay. I guess I wasn't thinking of those things as being independently pull objects. They're just things that combine with the idea of pulling. But I guess maybe you're right. Maybe it's not just that the toy gives us the word pull. Maybe it's just one of things that goes with pull. Like
Right.
you can pull the toy, you can pull the plug, you can pull the but
I don't know.
I guess I just assumed that this was that was just giving you that word, and then that other thing gave the word.
It was giving you the word to tell you what, to pull the toy.
No. Just the pull toy was there just to give you a pull. Like it's just this thing.
Oh.
And in almost like a tiny Room 45 way, where it's like, here's just some shit. Well, that's the way I always understood like what we were talking about here. That it's just like it's not quite a rebus because the pull toy doesn't just equal the word pull in any reasonable way, but it's almost like a rebus is what I was thinking, just that you've got the pull toy, pull, and then wool. And that gives us the idea of wool, pulling the wool. And then what I was thinking this last time is that the lamp gives you the idea of over one's eyes, but I mean, the funny thing, I guess, is that it only covers one eye, which is weird because that expression is never used in the singular. You know, you never pull the wool over an eye. Yeah. But nevertheless, you've got this thing very conspicuously covering an eye right by the pulling in the wool. I don't know. Pulling the block.
How do I say enough?
Wool.
Penalty.
Where's this?
Hello?
Now, yeah.
Can you hear me?
What happened?
Oh,
Yes.
I just switched from using my headphones because there was an echo. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, repeat an echo. So you know you're listening to Mazecast.
It's gone now. People won't know. It'll be so beautiful.
What was I saying? Oh, now, so the picture there with the I mean, those could be considered push pins, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Do we have a push-pull thing going on? I don't know. I don't remember whether we've really thought about that before.
Is there anything in the text that would relate to that at all?
No.
No, there isn't. Well, this is the thing, right? I mean, it does seem clear that there's a pull thing going on. It's pull a wool or pull a rug, one of those things. But like you'd think, okay, so if I'm making 3 pull things, I've got 3 doors. If I'm doing this puzzle, I would make 2 of them bad in some way and 1 of them good.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not too sure that that's what's going on here. I don't think this is a door puzzle. I don't think there are door puzzles off the. I don't know, and
I don't think there are any.
Well, based on the one comment that Manson made and the scarcity of solutions we've got, I think generally, if there are puzzly things indicating doors, they're going to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and off of the path, in any case, I think either we've got something here that's giving a message that's not about the door, or it's going to be cluing the wrong door. But I think totally off the rails here is by trying to. Oh, see, there is an echo. I just heard my own voice coming. Gosh.
I can't hear it actually, too.
Let's just pretend it's not for the benefit of one of the ways we've gone way off the rails here, everyone, is just by assuming that every room points you towards the best door, and then just looking for whatever points you that way. Because we've demonstrated that not only, I mean, obviously you can just come up with whatever dumb solution you want to point to any door you want. Like, certainly we proved that, but we can even do it in a way that deludes us into thinking it's not stupid when, you know, even when every sensible person says, oh, that's really stupid. And then we're just like, no, you just don't understand maze.
That's absolutely true.
So I don't, well, at the very least, I don't think we should tie our hands in that way with assuming what the messages are going to be about, or that the messages are going to be given the right door. I do certainly think that these are parts of little puzzly things. I don't think it, like Diane has suggested before, that it's just a bunch of crazy shit in the rooms that's meant to look like a puzzle but isn't. I do think things are here with a purpose, generally, that's just inscrutable to us. But in any case, all that say, no, I wouldn't. I'm still not sure that these are supposed to be three separate pull-related things, although I guess you might be right. That's becoming more and more. Yeah, you know what? That's becoming more and more plausible to me the more I think about it.
Right?
And that's kind of like, I mean, this was a room like that we saw in this way after White Raven's idea was revealed to us about 21, where he said that these objects are meant to suggest turn.
Right.
Right.
And we started looking for idioms and things like that.
Yeah. And then, so we just thought, oh yeah. So that was another room. It's like, well, it's an object that turns stuff. And, you know, it's funny, I'm not that certain that that's what's going on there, but it was a reasonable suggestion. Mm-hmm. And then we read this, and I'm saying we, let's be honest, it was me. Looked at this and said, oh, pull, and that ruggy thing. We go like, that's
Do you feel like?
I was like, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, but so I don't remember why I started bringing that up. Other than it's potentially just a Manson-y type thing. If it's that's going on in multiple places, it could be that, like, if we give any credence to the Room 21 stuff, that this is, you're right, like this is a group of things suggesting pull the plug. See, yeah, I get that,
because that the pull toys pull is, you know, obviously placed so that if you pulled it, you pull it in the right direction.
Oh, then let's not do that. All right, go ahead. What am I talking? I'm acting like you shouldn't even say something if I don't agree with. Oh, even stop.
Don't even go there. Stop talking. I don't think that's a terrible one. I mean, especially if we've got like all these pull things, whether it's pull the rug, pull the wool, that's bad. Pulling the plug, those are all the things on that side of the room. And then you've got the third pull thing, which is a toy, which is harmless and takes you in the right direction.
No. Okay. Now I've
said my piece. It's fine.
Listen to what you become.
I was always like this.
That's true. That's true. That's why you haven't. It wasn't even a descent. You just started your life at the bottom of the mountain, you know?
I like it down here.
You were born in the valley of death. No, I think you've got to, you make a reasonable observation where it's like all these things, if pull in one direction, right? So, I mean, I guess there's no reason why the carpet couldn't be pulled from the other side, though. I suppose it's just that we only see this side of it. So if we have
those inviting candles, right? Like that thing, it drove me crazy. The shape of the rug or the wool or whatever, it has a shape that drove me crazy looking at it, because I couldn't figure out why it had that very specific shape to it. It looks like a nose kind of coming out of the door there.
Right. Which is
I mean,
what I
you could interpret it as those are the handholds inviting you to pull it, and that's how Manson said to himself, "This is how you know to pull in that direction." You don't like that at all?
well, I don't think they're meant to be handholds. I mean, if it, I no, I'm overreacting to just disagreement, so I apologize. No, I don't think those to be handles. I think that the shape of it is just meant to what do I want to say here? Like I don't think the particular shape that it fell in was meant to be something. I mean, who knows? You could be right. I mean, it could be purposeful. I think it's just meant to show that it's not lying down flat, that it's more like a what do I want to say? Like a what do I want to say? Uneven, not uneven. What do I want to say? It's not it's an irregular piece of fabric, I guess. That's which is kind of what makes it look less like a designed rug, like a rug that was made. But I mean, in a way, it does look like a rug that's just too big to fit to the door, that's been pulled through the door, and so it's kind of wrinkled up. So who knows? Who knows? I think that's whatever it is. That's just what it is. That it's not fitting evenly through the door, and so it's just kind of lying there roughly and out of place, which makes it look like it's just been pulled. If it were a rug, if you take a rug, especially a big rug, and you pull it. But again, that could have happened from either side.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a problem because Manson didn't draw a lot of people. There's not a lot of people in Maze, so it's if he wants to show an action, it's kind of hard to do because he doesn't have any actors to do it.
Well, I was just thinking, is there any reason? I don't think there is. Is there any reason to think that that rug might have been inside this room and it's been pulled out? Not really.
Not really.
No, not at all. So that's only to say, I mean, everything that can be pulled does pull on the direction of room 33. Now, which it's fair observation. I mean, the rug is going to get pulled one of two ways, I suppose, because it's in the middle of the doorway. So it's either going to get pulled out towards 33 or get pulled in towards 16. I don't know that it by itself, you would really say this goes to 33, but the pull toy definitely, I mean, it could be pulled forward or backward or whatever, but obviously it has a clear forward, so you would pull it that way. The plug was obviously would pull out that way. Now they don't actually point to the door, but they go in the direction of the door.
Right.
It's hard to say. I don't know what, I mean, who knows what that means, or if it just means go that way. I don't know. I mean, something just pointing the way, it seems like an excuse, like we found something that we're going to use as an excuse for a room indicator. We wouldn't ordinarily say that a bunch of stuff pointing a particular way.
And for me, what makes it is the three things together with the action pull gives it a little more weight than just stuff pointing.
Well, it certainly gives you, I mean, you need that action to say that these things are even indicating that direction at all, because the plug is obviously, without the pull action, is more connected with 16 than with anything else, and the rug's coming right out of 16, and the pull toy's right by 16, right? So if you didn't look at the pull direction, you wouldn't associate these things with 33. No, I get it. I don't know whether that makes it more plausible that we should be looking at the direction these things go. That's just what gives us the reason to think about where they're going and where they'd be going if we pulled them at all. It's still pretty loose, man, because like it's just a vague direction. And the thing is, if they're supposed to be associated with room 16, I mean, or I guess, I mean, if for some reason they're all together on one side of the room, they tend to all be pointing the other way anyway, because the only other option, I mean, the plug can't be on the right side of the room, but like plugged in the left, right? It could have been plugged on the back wall, I suppose. Yeah, I mean I say that like it doesn't mean anything, but it does. It could have just been plugged in the back wall. So there was another option for that.
Mm-hmm.
The carpet couldn't really have gone any other way. The duct isn't likely to have been drawn going forward or backward because it's just not clear if it's not drawn from the side.
Right.
I think it's, so maybe.
I love the turtle struggle.
I certainly don't buy that it's just things pulling towards the right direction, but I don't think that's the craziest thing in the world either. Like that's not, we're not in genteel territory with that one, and we're not in like ordinary Sarah territory with that one. So I don't think that it's like my suggestion to make, and who knows, right? We still don't know anything about what's going on in this book. Maybe those kinds of things are real.
And okay, all right, well, let's talk about that little square, which I always thought to be referring to, the two doors, 36 and 16. And so that would be like an odd one out then.
Oh, I see. Like you're saying, the square suggests you're looking for a
numerical square.
Oh,
I don't know.
Right. No, I mean I feel the same way. I mean, I'm thinking about it. It's like, well, maybe. I mean, I'm trying to think. Do we have another case where there's something like that nailed to a door, but there's not of particular significance to that door, but to the room in general? I guess we probably have a bunch and we don't know it because we don't know what anything means.
Well, stuff isn't very often attached, like on the doors. It's more over and around the doors. There's the Needles and Eyes room. See, I've forgotten the number. Oh my God.
34.
Thank you. Are there any others with stuff on the doors? I don't think so.
With stuff on the door? Well, yeah. I mean, like you've got in 42, you've got
oh yeah, that's true.
Doors.
That's true. Sometimes the numbers are on the door.
Yeah, I was just thinking of another one, and in 15, like you've got the SVN
right
on the door to 30, which may maybe just be more like a general thing for the room than for that door in particular, but who knows?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just 37, isn't it?
Maybe. I mean, we know 37's the answer, so we can say that. But I don't know that that's what's going on. I don't know.
Oh, there's Sleeping Beauty's castle in 5. There's the sun in 3. And all the pictures in 1, of course.
Yes, there's a lot.
All right. Well, should we talk about the pictures?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I was still thinking about that square thing, but I guess there's not much more to say. It's absolutely true. We got 2 square numbers, and but 33 is not square. Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. How many rooms are there where there's like arguably 2 good doors? There's only really 2, right? Other than that, there's always one that's the best. Like 2.
There's always
2 and 5, right?
Yeah, I think so. Boy, I think you're right about that. And even then, boy, this is bad. I had to look at a map to be sure exactly where there's not a clear. Well, you mean like a different best door depending on whether you're going in and out, or just a situation where it flat out doesn't matter which door you take because
Either or, I guess.
equally.
Like, can we say that if a clue pretty clearly indicates 2 doors, can that pretty clearly tell us that it's eliminating those doors? Like, we've got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm still not convinced that there are any puzzles that point to the correct door. So I would say maybe.
Maybe in the loop, right?
I mean anywhere.
Anyway?
Well, it depends what you mean by a puzzle pointing. I mean, if you're talking about an odd one in solution, I guess what I'm saying is that's like a series of puzzles that all point to the wrong doors. But you could also call that a puzzle pointing to the right door. What I mean is, I don't know that there is a puzzle that actually just directly indicates the correct door. They might all be, eliminate the doors that are suggested by puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
The only good solutions we've got to places, the only things that we can feel reasonably confident about. Although, I mean, who the hell knows what that means? Like, because this was a room where I used to say, with the 3, occluded, I don't know if I'll use that word, but the 3, like, covered our eyes that you can't see on the left and the 3 you can't see on the right. And I used to use that as an example of, like, a really fine answer, like one of the best answers we've got.
Yeah.
But it's, and Diane always thought that was nonsense. And what's the name of that guy who does the interactive fiction stuff?
Oh, I know who you mean. He wrote about Maze. He wrote
right
about Maze. I can't remember his name.
Well,
it's on the tip of my tongue.
I can't. Diane would remember if she were here, but he was never impressed with that, and he was like kind of politely saying, you guys are crazy.
Right?
Yes, Andrew Plotkin. Yeah, Andrew Plotkin was like trying to very politely say, yeah, I'm not really interested in this. It sounds like nonsense to me. And I was like, well, I can't, what's wrong with these people? I can't say them. But, I think that was part of the maze haze we were in. Like, it doesn't seem particularly great. I mean, it's like a lot of like it's not genteel, but it's not that great either. I'm not, and all the problems that we always acknowledged, and we were just like, well, it's Manson, he doesn't make things clear. He doesn't, like it does. You have to be very willing to say, well, you can see this eye, but you can't see the pupil, so that doesn't count. Like, well, this is here. I don't think you can tell that's an eye, and to get the.
Okay, but to be fair, it is Manson. I mean, I know we've talked about this ad nauseum, but
it is Manson. Keep in mind the problems we have with Manson, though. I don't know that we have that problem in particular, that where he would do that, where if he has a puzzle where the point is which eyes are covered, clearly depict an eye, but like not show the pupil, so that then you're like, oh yeah, so you got to count the pupils. That's how you decide. I mean, it's, again, I wrote that whole article about it, but
yeah,
it's you open yourself up to basically accepting anything in the world by just saying a puzzle can be bad in any way, but it's Manson, so whatever. This is probably the solution. Just don't know that anyone would do it this way if they were making.
I mean, for the eye one, it's maddening because on the one hand, he has done things to make it, very clear that they're turned in awkward ways. Things are shown in profile for no reason. You've got this Picasso, and that's another like saying, and that's another way to just show one eye. The lamp over the guy's face. It all looks super deliberate, more than a lot of things that we find. It's super, super deliberate. But then, as you say, it's not clear cut, and you're like, well, is that a showing or not? You can't quite tell, and you can sort of count it that it is, and it's very frustrating. But I think, part of what I think that we forget sometimes is that he did this in like a frenzy, right? A frenzy of creation, and like it took him a long time, but it's not like he spent years on it. You know what I mean? Like, he did this pretty fast, all things considered.
So you think in his rush to draw the room, he just wasn't able to not draw those eyes without pupils?
Maybe that's not the best argument for this particular puzzle, but I think that sometimes it's worth bearing in mind.
Well, I do think it's an argument against examining very minute detail as containing the key to the room, which maybe works against this room in that regard. I mean, I hear what you're saying. You're absolutely right. Like, but I think that goes against the idea that his puzzles depend on very small details like that. Like the you look at that face in the middle of the far right side of the far right wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the face where you can see both eyes, but one of them's partially cut off and you can't see a pupil on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you say, well, you have to see the pupil from the eye to count, like that's one where it's like, well, why would he do that? I mean, not like this has nothing to do with
yeah.
What's that?
No, I agree with you.
Then you look at the portrait on the top left, the left-hand wall, and that's a face that's so shaded you can't really see pupils on it either. Like clearly both eyes are visible, but if pupils that count, then what is he doing drawing this portrait where you can't even make out the detail? The eyes,
Right.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't think that's what's going on. But why did we even get up on that again? I don't remember what took us down this trail.
We're talking about types of puzzles and things that are, I don't know, the usual stuff.
Said, should we talk about the pictures? And I just went off for 20 minutes
on something else. Okay, well, we've talked about the guy's solution, which.
Okay, well, I'm done with that part, maybe. I guess.
Well, do you think? All right, here's another thing you're gonna hate. The way the columns, or I don't know what you call them, the sides of the doors with the little circles over top of them. It's kind of funny looking. Do you think those are supposed to be eyes?
I don't think so. Maybe. That's what I say about everything. I don't think so. Maybe. Who knows? We don't. I can't think of a compelling case where sort of generic architectural details there's been a compelling argument that they've been relevant. How
about the prologue?
Thank you for making my point. But, although well, okay. I appreciate your personal satisfaction, the preposterous solution about the door frame being a large pot. Look, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm skeptical that these sorts of architectural details are parts of the puzzles. I think it's just another case where you've got a lot of basic shapes that you can interpret in various, symbolic ways to get what you want out of them.
I mean, so hear me out. I'm not quite finished with these eyes yet.
Oh, good. I hoping there was more.
Yeah, I know. And there is. So to me, they look a lot like eyes, and especially the little circle things. Can you hear me? Oh, you're all ears. That's great. You're all ears.
I didn't want to miss a word. This is an explanation.
Okay, so not only are they eyes to refer to the eye solution, but there are 3 of them on one side of the room and 3 of them on the other side of the room. And if you think of them as Roman numerals, it's 3-3, Vincent. Right?
Yeah.
Is your mind
right? 6-1, the classic depiction of 33 in Roman numerals. I mean, Or you can see it as 3 11s, right? 11 plus 11 plus 11 is 33.
Yeah, but those numbers aren't in the room, Vincent.
What do you mean? Yes, they are. You've got 2 1s on each door. 1 and 1, that's an 11. And then they're separated by door. And then you can do any stupid thing you want.
That's true. You could have 11 plus 11 plus 11, get 33. That works.
But that doesn't bolster my confidence. Those mean something. That's, to me, is just...
I know. I do feel like there's an unusual amount of prominence and clarity given to those details.
Maybe. He usually does take a lot of care in the architectural details of the room. I'm just not sure that that's for puzzly reasons and not for, Manson being a good artist reasons.
Yeah, and I think he does like those things. I think you get the sense that he likes to draw those things.
Yeah, and I don't think he would have drawn 45 like plain bare bones rooms. Assume that he didn't want the architecture to be part of the puzzle, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. I don't think that means he would have drawn 45 plain bare bones rooms.
No.
He still would have wanted to design elegant rooms, da-da-da. So I suspect that that's more what these are about, but, who knows? I'm just telling you what I suspect. Obviously, no one knows anything. Portraits. We've talked about it all before. The portraits are interesting. I mean, the 3 on the left always seem to suggest, and maybe even Top Hat there too, they all seem to suggest the same thing to people independently, and it's not clear why, but we all seem to think that those are meant to be to mislead us into thinking it's the guide.
Mm-hmm.
The king is obvious because the prologue talks about him having a crown, and the text of the room talks about what was the word that he uses? They thought that it was a
it wasn't a very good likeness.
Yes, not a very good likeness. Mm-hmm. And so we assume that one of these pictures is meant to be a likeness of somebody in particular. The guide's the only real character in the book, mm-hmm. and you got to do the crown there. So we think maybe that's what the guide looks like. And then we've got this, very poor drawing, what we call the Picasso drawing. So maybe that's not a very good likeness because it's badly drawn. Mm-hmm. And then we've got this very dark photo, which for some reason we all assume, hey, maybe that's Manson's picture. So I don't know whether that's what Manson looked like or not.
I do not think that at all. I think that's Dante.
Okay. It's not Dante. It doesn't look like Dante.
It does look like Dante. I'm going to find a picture of Dante. Looks more like Dante.
Picture of Dante.
Like Manson, I will tell you that much.
Well, we didn't know what Manson looked like at that time. Mustache. All we know about Manson's appearance at that time is that he went around wearing a dunce cap. He carried a scepter shaped like the sun.
So, okay.
I've been getting back into thinking that maybe that's the guide.
Top Hat's the guide?
Well, maybe. Look, he's wearing the top hat that covers his horns. He runs when he sees the group there, not because he's afraid, but because he, I guess, doesn't want to clue in the guests about the temporal craziness. I guess that's not clear why that's an issue. Why does Top Hat run when he sees? I guess you assume it's because he's afraid of the guide.
Yeah.
But, well, we don't need to get into it. That's not the topic of tonight's episode.
Okay, now, but just look at this picture of Dante before you go any further. Can you see that on your phone?
Yes.
So he's got a long nose. He's got those kind of big, dark eyes, and especially look at his mouth and the lines around his nose and his mouth. I mean, if I could find a great picture of him with that weird hairy necklace that he seems to be wearing, I don't know, but that's my guess.
Yeah, it looks like the guy in that dark picture has a mustache.
No,
You don't see a mustache in there, huh?
no.
Yes, I see a mustache. It's
Ah.
my issues.
Nope, I don't see a mustache.
You know,
All right, we've stopped dead. Sorry.
my case, for some reason, it's those pictures on that wall that really seem to like the meaning seems to be concentrated on that wall. I don't. The other pictures in the room don't seem, for whatever reason, particularly suggestive that those might be pictures of the guide or other, identifiable historical personages. I don't know why. It's just the pictures on that wall by the door to 33, and it's the wall that has the Minotaur mirror too.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the reason is that it has the mirror, which really stands out. It's very light in color, for example, compared to all your stuff on the wall.
And the painting as well.
Of course. But I'm just if you look at that wall, all of the paintings are especially grayed out compared to the other paintings, except for the Picasso one in the horn mirror.
Mm.
Like it's quite significant. I guess it's strange.
Well,
So that's why they seem to be paired to me. Like they seem to be a pair thing to me because the rest of the pictures on that page on that wall are so dark. Which is like, if you've got black and white at your disposal, it's a pretty standard technique to make something so dark.
That's an interesting thought. He's definitely got stars by his head.
Yep.
I'm just not sure it's supposed to be a Picasso.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not sure, but sure.
I mean, there's nothing particularly cubist.
Well, but Picasso was more than just cubism.
Yes, but Picasso did everything. I mean, you can't draw a simple picture that's not going to be similar to something Picasso drew. But he's like, if you were doing a generic something to look like, I mean, he wasn't the only cubist either, but you draw something with two eyes on one side, you know what I mean? Like that's like your standard Picasso reference point with the facial features on the wrong side of the face.
It is, but if the reason he was doing Picasso was to, clue the Minotaur etchings, that's not what they look like so much.
No, but they don't look like that. Oh,
well,
it still looks like I guess Minotaur etchings.
Yeah. A lot of sexy Picasso drawings. This is the one I want.
Gotta get
what's that? We're gonna get banned from YouTube. This is the other one that I thought of. Like the faces here, I think, are drawn very much in that style, and even the stars are kind of reminiscent.
I mean, yeah, I guess the proportions and whatnot are distorted in a similar fashion, but they're not drawn in like with a childish simplicity. I guess it's hard to say what elements of that. I mean, Manson has to general a small painting on the wall inside one of the rooms. So maybe the point isn't that it looks like childishly simple. Maybe the point is that it doesn't resemble realistic human proportions. And I agree. The profile of that person's face, like right below the Minotaur's arm there, there's some similarities to the profile, to the picture in the room. I'm not sure that it's so striking that he would ever expect that picture to be a reference to Picasso's work generally, or this particular picture, though. But I mean, it's not. It's
not crazy.
I can see. Well, I don't want to go that far, but I can see.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad I just got the chance to show these pictures. Just wanted to show the damn pictures. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see where you're coming from as well. However, I think multiple different people have sort of looked at that and said Picasso independently. I have no actual.
No, I have too. I did too. I mean, I would have controversially said that was a reference to Picasso for quite some time. So, and it may be. It's just, again, I'm questioning the assumptions, and I don't know whether that's what's going on there, or whether it's just supposed to be sort of a generically childish drawing of a face.
Yeah. He does talk about himself in the text in this room, right? So gives you another reason to think there might be something. And I mean, we use literally the mirror with horns, which is like almost. Is that the most direct reference to a Minotaur that we get visually, aside from the hidden bow?
Yeah, that's certainly the most. Yeah, I mean, that's the odd thing, because it's something where I don't know that we've got a great puzzly explanation for why that's there. I mean, but it's a kind of cleverness or insight. You just automatically look at that and it makes you think Minotaur.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's like you could have just had a ball in the room with bull horns on top of it. It would make you think it's kind of like a head with bull horns on it. And so you put bull horns at the top of the mirror. You think, well, you see a face in the mirror and then you got bull horns on it. So it's like a Minotaur.
Right.
So it's strange, I guess, in a way, and that it seems to give away the game so much when, like, he's so oblique about it everywhere else.
I mean, he isn't. That's the thing, right? Like, it's fun to speculate and everything, but it's pretty clearly the best candidate for anyone who spent any time with the book.
Yeah, that's true. How much we were how it was the Minotaur. I mean, put aside the silly guide puzzle that actually exists. It's especially if the book was originally called Labyrinths, which is what he intended for it to be called, and they had to change it to Maze.
Right.
I mean, you're in a labyrinth, and and stuff like, we're all part animal and da-da-da. I mean, it's unavoidable that it looks like it's pointing towards the Minotaur. And in fact, that was. No one reads this. Go now. No one reads this and thinks about who the guide might be and doesn't come up with the Minotaur.
Right.
And the only reason you start seriously exploring alternative candidates is because it's like, well, in a book like this, you can't just assume that all these little clues can be trusted.
Mm-hmm. You suspect maybe twists, that all of a sudden you'll figure something out and it will come clear and it will be something else.
But anyway, even in that context, even with all the side comments that line up well with the Minotaur, even though the Minotaur is thematically appropriate in general to be running around in a labyrinth and sort of have this dark side of leading the guests to their doom and all that stuff. The bull horns on the mirror is still like a step above directness. Like as I said, it's no amount of insight. Anything. There's something going on there, but whatever's going on, you don't have to figure it out because you just see the bull horns and you think, "Oh, a minotaur." And so that's a little strange. Now, there's so much. I just love to hear Manson talk a little bit about the guide. I mean, he's confirmed who the guide is. We know who the guide is. I wish he would address something like what his inspirations were for this depiction. Whether he was inspired by House Mysterian or anything else. Because I mean, the Minotaur is the guide is not a lack of clues suggesting it's the Minotaur, but it's the details that are un-Minotaur-like. Why in particular seem to give the Minotaur sophisticated appreciation of music? Like,
right.
Is this something that puzzle for them? And it wasn't really meant to be demonstrating anything important about the Minotaur's character. Because, I mean, that's something that you certainly focus in on. Well, that doesn't sound like the Minotaur at all.
Right.
I mean, the very idea that the Minotaur is, like, creating puzzle and clues. Like, what?
Yeah. Although, as you noted before, it does it fits a lot more with the House of Mysterian.
It fits more. Still, he was still intellectually, although not verbally. He had high, he's
eloquent.
Yes, that's the word I was ineloquently looking for. He was very eloquent in that he had limited, mathematical capacity, and he certainly had a limited understanding of the world, and seemed to have a limited ability to communicate. But he wasn't, a dumb beast or anything as the Minotaur is usually depicted.
Right. Right. Yes, the talking that really bothers Alex. He always says it makes the Minotaur sound like a Disney character or something.
I don't see what the big deal is there.
He's the musical. This is our next project. Maze the musical. They're making musicals out of everything now.
That's a great idea.
With wide commercial appeal.
Yeah, we'll just take any pop song that has something that sounds like Maze in it and then do another terrible song parody.
That song parody is pretty good. I worked pretty hard on producing that, so just watch it.
I'll make my own contribution to it. I think everyone else did a bang up job. Well, Greg did a fine job on performing that song.
He did. For those of you out there who don't know, we have a parody song. It's called Maybe It's a Maze. Sung to the tune of Maybe I'm Amazed.
I'm so glad I'm not the one who's saying that.
I'll put the link into the video. For those of you who have, been watching for this whole hour. Hi, Kit.
Well, push. Push pins.
Yeah, push pins. I mean, again, they could just be there to make you think of the opposite.
Yeah. Why a landscape? God damn. Well, are we winding down here? This hasn't been a particularly long episode. And usually I have the feeling that I could just talk about these things forever. I think we probably still could. Yeah. I almost feel like you've given me things to think about, and I'm sitting here being more contemplative than talkative about them at the moment.
Okay. Well, is there anything?
I mean, I'd say if you.
I don't know. I mean, I've already talked before about the game I like to play of just trying to figure out all the different people. But I do agree with you though that the wall 33 seems to be the meaningful one. I don't know. I always think that's Jack and Jill on the top. Why? I don't know. Other people have said that. There's absolutely nothing there. It's a girl and a boy. Why are they Jack and Jill?
Well, what other girl and boy would hang out together?
Hansel and Gretel. That's it. Those are the only options.
They do look a little hungry in that picture.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
So hungry.
I mean, I do think there's a strong possibility that nobody else is anybody.
Oh man, I don't know why it didn't even occur to me, but my phone is almost out of batteries. Maybe we should just go until my phone dies.
Oh, all right.
That'll be then we.
It'll just go dead, and that will be the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I'll be here to wrap.
It'll.
It's like, well,
After my phone dies, don't say another word. I don't want to miss anything. So when my phone dies, if you're just stop mid-sentence and sit there quietly, I'm able to end the call.
Aye, Captain. I don't
The
know.
other pictures.
Oh, here's something that I'm.
Oh.
Okay, the lamp, right? It has that little thing over it, which looks like a queen, right? I mean, that really looks like a queen. A chess piece.
All right. Okay.
I mean, you have to go into your memory bank because I'm sure you can't see that on your phone.
Just go ahead with nonsense you're gonna spout.
No, this is the thing though. I don't really have anything to say. But I mean, there's the monk on the checkerboard floor, but whatever. I don't know. It's a very specifically detailed finial and like detailed in a weird way. I don't think I've ever seen something like that on top of a lamp. It really looks like
well, something like that. I think it's pretty common for lamps of that sort to have some kind of like
some kind of thing on top, but it seems extremely detailed unnecessarily.
Maybe so.
I don't know. Well, Manson, remember he said there was an as yet undiscovered multi-room thing going on. Remember?
Oh, did he?
He did. I don't know. I haven't really tried with any serious effort to figure that out because I don't think that anyone ever will. But I mean,
like, why even bother? It's like it's there. We ain't gonna find it.
But like sometimes there's some chess things that I don't know. There's one thing in another room that looks like a pawn. There's some things that look like chess pieces scattered through it.
Maybe there's a series of rooms where we're just supposed to. There's just a word indicated that we should take from them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it doesn't connect any door solution. It's just pull. That's what we get from this room. Pull.
Oh, you think it's maybe part of the other mysteries puzzle?
Oh, I wouldn't say that I think it is, but it's possible.
Could be, I guess.
I mean, what words are you gonna see? That's like with the shoulder thing, and with the riddle of the path in general, like, is so unfair. How can you even start looking for a message?
Right. That is even more hidden.
Well, it doesn't even have to be more hidden. I mean, the only reason we know about that is because we're given,
Yeah.
like, I mean, the riddle in room 45, we know that people had figured out some of the words before the contest solutions were given. I'm not sure there's any evidence that anyone had any idea what was going on along the 16-step path before the solution was revealed. Because even in the contest,
No.
where what it was supposed to mean. So I'm sure people have found some of the words but didn't know that or what the hell to do with them.
Well, we still to this day don't agree on where all the letters are exactly.
Yeah. Or how all the words are derived, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think this has to be any worse than that. It at least seems to be the case. So like on the path, like the word like, for instance, is pretty easily to find. And the Y-O and U and the Y-O-U-R, like those are pretty clear. Like you don't know what to do with them. You know, there's not enough book to do that, but you definitely have a word hidden there. Is there anywhere off of the path where you've got indication of a word, regardless of whether we think we know what it's there for or whatever? Well, we've got herring in 22. That's pretty. The sign on the easel in the eye. We don't know what to do with it, but it seems like it's maybe suggesting a word.
I mean, some of the rooms just have 43 has got words in it.
Yeah, maybe, you know, that 43, not 43, we've always looked at 40 as, you know, it has a trap hidden among the symbols, and we've just taken that fairly straightforwardly to be, just you're in a trap. But maybe it is part of a longer message. It's just one word of it. I guess the problem is you also have the word trap in 43. Pretty weird. Or an ongoing message that has.
Yeah.
It's a trap. Or inside said trap.
Yeah.
You are about to get trapped in the trap.
Well, I don't know. So that all came out of talking about that queen thing, whether it's.
Well, but think about that though. So in 6, we've got just that eye sign hanging up on the wall, which we've never been able to do anything good with, right?
No.
Like people have done stupid things with it, but like it's not. It's almost like that's the word eye, not the word trap. We've got a herring.
What doors lead into 6? Do you remember?
What doors lead into 6?
Yeah.
It's 33. Not 33. 17. 12. No, 8. 8 leads into 6. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to get. I mean, hang on. 40.
8, 17, 32, and 40. Oh, obviously 40.
Yeah, 32. I should remember 32.
I'm just thinking of, you know, the room where it has the teeth row.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something like that.
Yeah, I've tried real hard to come up with anything for that. I've, you know, tried to figure out what room it might be coming from and what it means. I've tried to put it together with other elements to spell something. You know, we've tried to look at it as just like the letter I, and maybe it goes together with other things to spell something. You know, it looks like it's on the top of a mine shaft. Maybe the mine is whatever. You know, you could spell Minotaur in there if you wanted to. But it does seem, at the very least, yeah, I mine. Yeah, it's just that we need an additional clue that sign is talking about the guide.
Yeah.
It's there. Oh,
it's not like there's clue in the book.
But there does seem to be something there to that, and we don't really know what all those tangled wires. Oh, I'm down to 5% battery.
Oh boy.
All right. It's this is
Better wrap it up with something brilliant.
No. We're just gonna ramble into the fog until we die. I was saying, oh yeah. I mean, it certainly seems like there could be a word of note hidden in room 11. It certainly seems like there's something going on in room 22. It certainly seems like there's something more going on in 40. I think that's a reasonable place maybe for us to concentrate some efforts on coming up with a verbal message. But
the trap?
Yeah, give me a break. Yeah. Keep broke.
Again.
Is it concentrating our efforts means anything? Yeah. It's like this is closer. We should thing our time.
The hour a day that each of us devote to Ming's analysis. This is where we put that time.
What I meant was, we're not going to come up with anything new. But we've always just sort of assumed that all the messages in the trap are independent indications that you're trapped, but there could be some coherence there. Lewis did, keep believing in yourself, right. But he kind of tagged on the keep in a questionable way because we've got two backwards words in there. And he's only using one of them. But the more I think about it, as much as that made me laugh at first, I look at that and it's like, it's good. That's a bell. It's in yourself. I mean, like that seems plausibly unfair little thing for Manson to do. Like I can see that really being what's going on there.
Just like a mocking message when you're in the trap and you know.
Just keep believing in yourself, but a part of a larger message, and what you get from here is something about believe in yourself, but you have to put it together with words from another room.
Yeah.
There's something. Obviously, there's something there
in 22. I don't know. I think some of the explanations we have for that room are, I don't know, plausible. That's the pawn room.
Well, they're plausible. Yeah. But, I had to say, he was not impressed.
Yeah, but that was before.
He was not. For what? What
that stuff.
What additional stuff?
He said he was not impressed with White Raven's original idea about that.
I don't know. This was after we said herring, and that the other stuff had the fish aspects, like the scale, tail, water, and
well, that's not what I'm
stuff about. What are you talking about?
Oh, no. What? I'm not remembering this right. I guess we better go look it up. I mean, I like the STOP interpretation.
With precipitation?
Well, okay. I mean, precipitation is pretty bad. But then also the stuff in the middle does the same thing.
What do you mean? Because it's an octagon?
You got an octagon, you have a seat, you have a pawn, you have a trident. Look at that thing. It's a pawn.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're spelling out.
Okay. Stop.
What's the O?
The octagon. Because the stop part of it is covered.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm fond of that interpretation of this room because I think it's numerous things just cluing the same thing.
Sort of. I mean, the seat is an octagon.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
The text talks about, hey, you could stay here for a while. It is literally the best place to stay in the trap.
Hey, we've talked about it. I know. I guess I didn't remember I didn't remember it was like seat, trident, octagon, pawn, spelling out stop. I'm sure I've heard that at some point and then dismissed it offhand and forgot. Stop. Well, even if it does say it might not be anything as high level as like we're looking at it. Like, well, if you were stuck in a trap and you had to find the best place to hang out, well, this is the farthest distance from the bad place, and it's a comfortable place, and da da da. Like, it could just be a simple like they're all these warnings in the trap that are pointless because you can't do anything. And this could just be another warning, like stop, kind of like
give up. Try again.
No, not even that. The way that the guide's warnings work in the trap, from a narrative perspective, it doesn't seem like the people are actually trapped in the trap. I mean, mechanically they are because of the way the book operates, but like even in room 11, the guide's in the text makes it seem like there's like what I want to say, like it matters. Like,
well, they have to. I mean, for the book, you can't know you're in the. He isn't going to know that you've lost when you're in those rooms.
Well, but that's I don't. So, I mean, the conceit of the story of the maze is that this place is constantly shifting and changing. Even the guide can get lost. That can't actually come through playing of the game because it has to have a static form to it. But within the narrative, at least, it seems like the guide still thinks that they might be able to get out or to get away. Like he still is concerned with them not figuring out what's going on. Like he's concerned that they're going to read the signs and realize trap at room 40, whereas it's like, well, who gives a shit? What difference does it make? There's their fucking stuff there already. So I'm just, my point in all that shit is just that it seems like warnings in the trap are working more on a narrative level to warn people about going to room 24 than on a mechanical level where you can't avoid going to room 24 anyway. And so a warning that says stop, I don't think is as like we're looking at it with a complete knowledge of book and all the sections and all the rooms and and we have this like explanation about how you'd want to sit in that room. I think it might just be as simple as, whoa, stop, you're going to a bad place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Although it's funny, I never thought of this part of the music shift around and change as applying to the trap. But there's no reason why I couldn't. But I always sort of thought, oh, well, once you're there, and that's it. And that, you've lost.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless.
Well, it's funny to try to think of the workings of the maze on a literal level. It's hard to do, especially when, well, I guess it's not the guide doesn't present the rules and the directions. Like that's just Manson or somebody, I mean, whatever, but it says your guide awaits you. So that's not the guide giving you the directions and stuff. So the guide never mentions like a 16-step path or anything like that. Which would be weird for the guide to acknowledge if the path is constantly changing and all that stuff. But sort of the way that, I mean, the way that everything works, it's kind of hard to square with the idea that the maze can change around at any time. Like, I mean, like all the puzzles in all the rooms don't make sense if they can just suddenly shift, Well,
I feel like if the room shifts around, the puzzles are also changing too.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of ambiguous too, as to whether those are just part of the shifting maze, like that stuff just happens automatically, or whether the guide is, I mean, on the back cover of the guide makes it sound like he created all the puzzles. Like he says, well, if you trust me or my clues.
Right.
I mean, um,
which could just mean what, things he says. Doesn't necessarily mean stuff in the room.
yeah. Hmm. I mean, they're obviously.
Oh, I think we're losing Vince,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Right. You're cutting out. Vincent has descended into room 24, everyone. So that's the end of the Mazecast for tonight. I guess it's fitting we ended up in the trap. See you next time.